They get it to overtime. They come back and win it. How impressive was it to you?
For me, it was a 10 out of 10 because their season's on the line.
Yeah.
Especially with what happened in the AFC this week, they could not afford to lose this game. And you sit there, it looked very, very bleak at times. And I think before we get to the Patrick Mahomes stuff, what really impressed me was Steve Spagnuolo in the defense. Jonathan Taylor had 3.6 yards per carry. They absolutely stymied this guy, 58 total yards. So they gave their offense a chance to continue to get back into this thing. It is no small task doing this. And then this is what was cool. You look, you're down 3, you're on your own 3-yard line. It's 2nd and 13, and Mahomes showed up. You just mentioned his numbers in the fourth quarter. And it was Rashee Rice, Kelsey, Kareem Hunt. It was all hands on deck. He made the off-schedule throws like you're seeing here. Noah Gray is unconscious, and he still holds on his ball somehow.
Crazy.
Jay, we're watching the replay, and I'm like, there's no way the ball never touched the ground.
No, it didn't.
And you just sat there, and to me, it was almost a point where this is the magical Chiefs that we haven't seen the last few weeks, and they're so great. And I'll say this with the Colts, that is a team that is potentially the 1 seed.
Yeah.
You know, this is no slouch and like that's a good team over there. I would say the Indianapolis Colts are a great team. They walked in, Jonathan Taylor, as we've talked about, is been talked about as an MVP at running back.
Yep.
They basically bottled him up. They made Daniel Jones very uncomfortable, and they found a way to score points. I thought it was an unbelievable win and kept their playoff hopes alive.
Who are you, if you're the Eagles, who are you putting the blame on for this collapse?
If I'm the Eagles, I'm pointing the finger right at the offensive coordinator, first-year OC, Kevin Patullo, and saying, what is going on? And it starts, and you've heard me say this before, with Saquon Barkley. You have a 21-point lead, and Saquon Barkley ends the game with 22 total yards, 10 carries. He averaged 2.2. What is going on, Jay? Last year, I'm sitting on this desk with you, and we're talking about this guy's a potential MVP. He gets over 2,000 yards. You have a 21-point lead like we talked about, and we can't move the ball. It lined up to be a perfect situation for the Eagles. Instead, you couldn't get the run game going. Then you start making mistakes. You saw the turnover by Saquon. You got into some penalty issues. And then we had to get in pocket progression situations, which is not Jalen Hurts' specialty, and we didn't do that well. Again, it is what it is. You know, at the end of the day, you're 8-3. You're still feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
But did you just potentially lose the bye? Could be. You know, did you give life to a division rival? Could be. But beyond all those things, their offensive football is, we used to always say, let's get right. I know it's a simple saying, but we're not right. And it's not. How on earth can Saquon have 10 carries for 22 yards when you have a 21-point lead midway through the second quarter?
I mean, you got A.J. Brown, gets his side of things fixed. It's like one thing gets fixed, another thing is still broken. All right. You look at the AFC playoff picture.
Wild.
Patriots top of the conference, right? Patriots have a 3-game lead over the Bills in the East, plus they own the tiebreaker. Broncos leading the West by 2 games over the Chargers and 3 over the Chiefs. Colts have an edge over the Jags. And then despite starting the season 1-5, the Ravens have won 5 straight and now have the lead in the AFC North. And it's just a rough week all around for the Bills. If you look at that playoff scenario, is there a scenario now where you think they might not actually make the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills?
For me, no. I believe in Josh Allen, and I'll say this about this week. I think when their defense is this banged up, it helps to have more time to prep because they'll have to basically tailor their game plans each week because they don't have, let's call it the Johnnies and Joes, so we're going to have to pick up the X's and O's.
Right.
So the short week jams them, and the Texans is a bad matchup for the things they do well. So I will say this. If they lose, next week they play Pittsburgh.
Yes.
If they lose that game, which I would favor them to win, that's when I would start to really be worried because now we're going to be chasing. And the teams we are chasing have also beaten us, Houston, Pittsburgh. So to me, next week, you can kind of, before this, are we going to miss the playoff, actually starts to become serious, you can put that all to bed next week. You control your own destiny.
However, there is one caveat. There will be no Mason Rudolph under center next week.
Yes.
Mike Tomlin says that Aaron Rodgers, your boy,
my guy,
will be back.